So algebraic expression consisting of one term is a monomial. You can write this as 3m. Okay. What does the prefix by mean? 2. Good. So it is an algebraic expression consisting of or with 2 terms. Bicycle, right? 2 wheels. Okay. So what is an example of a binomial? Something like 3m plus n. 2 terms. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction. What does try mean? 3. Okay, so an expression with 3 terms. This looks something like 3m plus n plus mn. And what does poly mean? Many. Good. Okay, so we start after 4, we get lazy as mathematicians, and we say expression with 4 or more terms. Okay, and this looks something like 3m plus n plus mn plus 1. Okay, so you need to be able to classify your polynomials by a monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial. Now we're going to talk about something called the degree of a term. All right, so one more time, I want to add this here. What is a term? Term is separated by addition or subtraction. I should say monomials. Monomials separated by addition or subtraction. Okay, that's important to know. Now we're going to talk about degrees of a term. To find the degree of a term, you add up all the exponents. Okay, so for example, example 1, we have 6x to the 8th power. This has only one exponent, so it has a degree of 8. Okay, these are all monomials here. All right, so let's look at example 2. Example 2 has 1, 2. Is this an exponent? Is there an exponent with z? Yeah, what is it? A 1, a little invisible 1. Okay. If you do not see 1 there, but you see a variable, a little invisible 1 is attached to it. So this has 3 exponents, actually. And the degree is not 6. The degree is 6 plus 3 plus 1, which is what? 10. Okay, so we know that variables have an invisible exponent attached to it. Do numbers have an invisible exponent attached to it? No. Okay, so just 8 does not have any exponents. which means it has a degree of 0. That is how we find the degree of just a term. Okay, that's how we find the degree of just a term. We go through each monomial and we add up their exponents if they have them. However, normally you don't just have a term, right? This unit we're talking about polynomials. Okay, so to find the degree of a polynomial, you first need to find the degree of each one of the terms, and then pick out the highest. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but for each term, and I like to just write them underneath it. Okay, so for example, number 1, we have 2x to the 5th minus 2x to the 6th, y to the 3rd, z, plus x to the 5th, y to the 2nd, z to the 4th. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction, right? So here's addition, here's subtraction. So that means this is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. This has 3 terms. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I always like to add in a little 1. 5, 6, 7 different exponents. So we're going to find the degree of each monomial and then pick the highest. So for example, this one here, 2x to the 5th. This has a degree of 5, right? It only has what exponent? 5. The second term, remember, we're just adding them up. The second term, we have 6 plus 3 plus 1, that is 10. The third term, we have 5 plus 2 plus 4, which is 11. Out of these 3, 5, 10, or 11, what is the highest number? 11, which means the degree of the entire polynomial is 11. Questions on that? So you're going through each term, adding the exponents, picking the highest one, and then you're going to write it in standard form. What is standard form? Highest degree to lowest degree. We always want to write our polynomials in standard form, from the highest degree to the lowest degree. So I'm going to give you a minute to talk to your partner, the people around you, and I want you to make up your own and tell me that I agree. Go ahead. Completely different, right? Obviously. I wrote, what did I write? I wrote 6m cubed plus 4m squared n minus 2m squared n plus n. I wrote polynomial. You could have wrote whatever you want, right? If we go through these, this is how I do it fast. I look at this and I say, okay, this has a degree of 3 plus 1. This has a degree of 4, and I just write it below. This has a degree of 2 plus 1, that's 3. This has a degree of 2 plus 1, that's also 3. And this has a degree of 1, which means this is already in standard form, and the degree of my polynomial is 4. Yours could have been different. Make sure that it is correct, obviously. Okay, first page, done. Look at that. Not too bad, right? We're okay. See, I scared you, and then it was easier than you thought. Hopefully. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about classifying polynomials. What is a classification of the polynomial? By its degree, by its number of terms. What is its end behavior? All right. So, first thing you need to do is write the polynomial in standard form. First, combine any like terms, then place the terms of the polynomial in descending order from highest degree to lowest degree. The degree of the polynomial is equal to the value of the greatest exponent. We know this. You're going to count the number of terms in the simplified form, and then you're going to determine the end behavior. So, Miss Knight went around and passed you this little pink slip. You may use this on any quiz or test along with all notes, obviously, but keep this with you. You're going to need this. All right? Put it in your binder. Keep it with you. Do not lose it. Okay. It's also on here, though, if needed. So I'm going to go through the examples. All right? All right. So A is your first number in standard form. Okay? So if we look here, it says, look at the degree of the polynomial n. N is your degree. And the coefficient of the leading term, A. Okay? So for example here, we have 2x to the 6, y to the third, z. This is in standard form. My degree is 6. They use n as your degree. My a, always the number in your first leading coefficient, is 2. When a is positive, 2 is positive, and n is an even number, you got to know your evens versus your odds, you are going to have an end behavior that is up and up, okay? What does this look like? It will look something like this. Up and up. Starts up, ends up. Okay, these graphs are wild, so they're not linear. If you have something very similar, A is positive, okay, so in this example, 2 again, but this time, your n is odd, you are going to have an end behavior that starts down and ends up. Something like that. Okay. If A is negative, that first number is negative. A is negative 2 here. And n is even, 6, our degree is even, you're going to have an end behavior that starts down and ends down. And lastly, if A is negative, so for example, negative 2, but n is odd, you're going to have an end behavior that is up and down. So for example, starts up and ends down. Okay? We do not expect you to memorize these. On your quizzes and tests, it's going to be as simple as we give you a polynomial and we say, what is the end behavior? And you need to determine your A and your N, and then look at your little card or this page of notes and say, okay, it's going to be up and up, it's going to be down and up, down and down, up and down. Probably come up with a song to that or something. All right. Questions. Okay, so here is an example. All right. First things first, we want to get it into standard form. Number 1 is not in standard form. So, my highest exponent is 3. So I'm going to put that first. Okay, that's my degree, my n. Okay. My next highest degree is 2 x squared, and lastly, minus 3. Highest exponent to lowest exponent. So, my n is 3. My degree is odd. There are 3 terms, okay? My a is 4. So my a is positive. So I'm going to come back up to my notes and say, okay, a is positive and n is odd. That means my n behavior is going to be down and up. Positive and odd is down and up. Try 2. Try 2. Go ahead. So, what is my highest degree here? What is it? 2. I put 3a squared first. My highest degree is 2, which means n is even. Okay. Then I have minus 2a plus a. Are those like terms? Are they? Yeah. So we're not going to write minus 2a plus a. We're going to write minus a. Like terms. Which means we only have 2 terms. Okay. What is my a? Positive or negative? Positive. So I'm going to go up and say, okay, I have an a is positive and n is even. A positive and even. That means I'm going to have an up and up end behavior. And that's it. Okay. Questions? All right, perfect. So we have 10 minutes to start your homework, which is your ed puzzle. So everybody go to Schoology and turn to this page. Okay. As you guys start, we will come around and stamp your page for the day, your 2 pages that they are done. You are going to go to our Schoology page, and you're going to go down to Unit 5, Polynomials. In here, you will see an Ed Puzzles folder. You're going to click in there, and you're going to watch the 5.2. Okay, these tell you when they are due. This is the first one you need to do. Okay, and you need to take notes on the next pages here that go along with it. Okay, it is 16 minutes. You have 10 minutes, which means you only have 6 minutes of homework tonight. 6, 7, okay? Go ahead, plug in your headphones or watch it on a low volume and take your notes.